Mass Effect was a milestone in video game history following its release in November 2007, and it captivated me right away. I bought an Xbox 360 just for this game, and it was initially a Microsoft exclusive. 14 years later, the legendary edition of the game has now been released on different platforms with improved graphics, along with the formerly paid DLCs. This includes not only the first part, but also the other two parts of the Shepard trilogy. If you haven't yet explored the Mass Effect universe, now is your chance. The first part is still a real Bioware game, and back then, the Canadian developer had an impeccable reputation, which has suffered a bit over time, while the other two titles were created under the aegis of EA, something that's also clearly noticeable in the two games due to the multitude of DLCs. In addition, the second and third parts are clearly more action-heavy, and the combat system is more cover-related than in the first part. You could put the blame on EA, as they bought BioWare from Bono, the lead singer of U2. Bono had bought BioWare and another developer with his partners via the private equity Elevation Partners in November 2005 for $300 million, before selling them to EA in October 2007 for $870 million. But why is the Mass Effect trilogy so popular? The three games offer a lot of freedom of action by allowing you, as the player, to travel the galaxy with your own ship, not only following the main story, but also completing many interesting side missions with a variety of interesting conversations. It's no exaggeration when I tell you that the crew really grows on you throughout the course of the story, and you can even enter into a romance or two. But the game also forces you to make brutal decisions, for example when it comes to sacrificing one of the crew members. Furthermore, there is often more than one solution. If you put enough skill points into diplomacy, or if you have a positive reputation due to your helpfulness and moral decisions, you'll get around some fights. In addition, there's a multitude of very interesting alien races, terrific background music, as well as an exciting story about a merciless threat by artificial intelligence, which was written by the novel and video game author Drew Karpyshyn. This really drives you on. Unfortunately, the conclusion of the trilogy can't keep up the suspense, and many fans remain disappointed by the grand finale. There are other annoyances as well. Unfortunately, there are still a few bugs in the game, but the situation is nowhere near as bad as it was when the first part was released. Back then, the game was a real bug festival, and you often had to restart a mission because you were stuck somewhere on a planet. On this plus side, the frequent elevator rides, which are used to load new areas, were a real lifetime killer in the original version, but these have now been shortened considerably and can usually be skipped after a few moments. The Mako, the vehicle with which you can explore unexplored planets in the first part, hasn't changed much. You either love it or hate it. There seems to be nothing in between, but the controls and the physics engine are still interesting. The enemy AI also only occasionally presents you with a challenge, as it isn't always up to snuff, and the enemies are more of a threat due to their numbers rather than their cleverness. The game also offers something from a management point of view, as you learn more about leadership and team management here than at business school or a management seminar. Only those who keep an eye on the needs of their team members can count on their support. But even from a scientific point of view, the game is interesting. Mass portals that manipulate the weight of a spaceship, making faster than light travel, is possible. Quantum entanglement is also used to communicate from the second part onwards, and there are really interesting exoplanets to discover in the game. Last but not least, you'll be confronted with scientific ethics when you can bring back a dangerous and actually extinct species, or alternatively, you're offered the opportunity to reverse a genetic genocide. Conclusion: the game is an amazing experience, and I've played through all parts in a row more than once, especially the DLCs, which have to be paid for, add an enormous depth to the game and enrich the story immensely. Especially the Mass Effect 3 Citadel DLC is a highly emotional experience because you're confronted with yourself as an opponent, and it's made clear in an ingenious way why you are special. Thank you for your attention. If you like this video, check out our other videos about science fiction.